What's up, YouTube? Today we will be doing some testing on the IM25 tank, salinity, alkalinity, phosphate, calcium, nitrate, and magnesium. That's the only thing I'm going to be testing for today. Start out with salinity. I'm going to pause multiple times to try to not extend this out too long. So give me 1 second. We're going to check salinity and the temp, and we'll be right back. Alright, so the salinity was 1.025. And the temperature was 77.5. 1.025. Last calibrated 6 days ago. Temp, got a little logbook here. 77.5. Alright, so unfortunately the HANA checker, from what I've seen, does not have a hold button, so I couldn't. As soon as I pulled it out of the water, it dropped back down to 0, and the temp started dropping on it as well. So one thing they can do to improve the checker is to put a hold button on there. If there is a hold button on there and I don't know about it, please let me know in the comments. I'm going to move on to the out test, so give me 1 second. Okay, we got the out test here, alkalinity HANA checker for marine tanks. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. I went ahead and filled up the cuvette with 10 mils of water already. Didn't think you need to see that. Got my reagent syringe ready. Pop it in. 10 mil facing me. Already wiped it down. Alright, we're going to go ahead and add the reagent, just 1 mil. Here. Tip it up and down 5-6 times, get the air bubbles out, mix it up. I know you're supposed to use a cloth or whatever for like eyeglasses. I just use a paper towel. I've never had issues with scratches. Clean it off, give it a couple more little tips. 10 mil facing the front, same as last time. Hit it. 8.3. You guys see that? Right on the money. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to clean this one out, and I'll pull out the the calcium. We'll do the calcium one first, and then we'll do the phosphate and nitrate next. So, real quick, I wanted to add, I use really hot tap water to rinse this out, and then I followed up with some distilled water just to flush whatever is left in the tap water. Then I blow out the cuvettes, get excess moisture out, and then I just place it back in the tank. They say you're supposed to use RODI or distilled water to clean them, to prevent the reagents from staining the glass, or chloramines from the tap water from contaminating your cuvette sample. I usually rinse the cuvettes out before I test from the get-go. So get this HANA checker out. Let me get it set up, and then we'll be right back. So real quick, in preparation, I've cut the HANA reagent pack open. This is, right now, is where I'm wishing I had the Trident. I wouldn't have to be doing all this testing, pulling out the vials, getting my distilled water or RODI ready. This test kit, you have to use 1 ml of the liquid reagent and 9 mils of RODI as the control, and then you put in the reagent when it says control 2. So let me go ahead and fill this cuvette up right here. Just flushed it out, and we will get back to you. Okay, so I'm back. So I have 1 ml of liquid reagent in here from the calcium checker kit and 9 mils of distilled water. Wipe down the cuvette, we'll turn it on, add C1. This is the point where you will add cuvette, 10 mils facing forward, hit the button, may proceed to. Okay, now we're going to open it up. I have in the syringe here, drawn up in there, just push down to the first stopper, not the second stopper all the way down, tank water, so we're going to add that to the sample. And we're going to push it all the way down this time. Next, I'm going to add the, it's kind of weird doing this with the tripod. I'm going to add the powder reagent. To the sample. Wiggle this thing open in and out, make sure I get all the little granules. Check it. Empty. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to shake this for, I believe, 1 minute. No, 15 seconds. Actually. What is that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, do it a little bit vigorous, but not too crazy. Next thing I'm going to do is just kind of tip it up and down to get the air bubbles off the side that may have formed. And then I'm going to wipe the cuvette down, make sure I get any fingerprints off. Mainly the middle portion of the vial, the cuvette. Next I'm going to place the 10 mil mark facing forward, close the lid, and push the button again. So we're at 419. Looks like calcium dropped from 425 to 419. No big deal. Alkalinity's right where I want it, so we'll go ahead and call that good. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to clean out this cuvette, rinse it out, put the calcium test away, and we will move on to the phosphate checker. Once again, same steps were used: super hot tap water and then rinsed out with distilled water, blown out, get all the excess water out. Then I just give them a hand dry, put them back away, ready for next use. I do rotate which cuvette I use. I try not to use the same cuvette that I used on the last one. I also try to blow through these little tubes here to get any excess water out of those. I don't know why, OCD or something, but just to prevent any imperfections. I test the same way every time. So another thing I forgot to add was I stole this little 5 mil syringe out of the Salifert kit because the cuvettes require 10 mil samples most of the time, so I just fill this up twice, and I feel I get a much more accurate draw instead of just dumping the cuvette into the tank. Plus, I don't like dumping the cuvette in the tank just in case there was any reagents or something left on the cuvettes. So I just use this little 5 mil syringe, fill it up twice, right to the line, and I get 10 mils perfectly. So let me bust out the phosphate kit and we will get back to you. Alright, so here we are with the phosphate kit. Once again, I've gone ahead and filled up my cuvette with sample water, 10 mils. Took the air bubbles out, wiped it down. I also pre-prepped, cut open the reagent. Nice little bump in there. So we're going to go ahead and turn the sampler on. You see the little plastic. I like to keep the plastic on the lenses. That way if I resell it, I just pull the plastic off and it's good as new, no scratches. So this is the phosphate ULR checker. Let's turn it on. Add C1. Put it in with the 10 mil facing forward. Again, like always, it's in there. I'm going to hit the button again. I'm going to wait. Add C2. So this kit, you might get a shock at the number. These levels have been elevated due to the dino outbreak in the tank and me dosing phosphates to the tank to help combat what was going on in the tank. I discussed that in last week's video. I actually made these videos on the same day. I just waited a week to release it. I don't know if I got too much stuff. Bore you guys with 45 minutes of me rambling. So, we got the reagent in. Now you want to gently shake it for 2 minutes. So I'm going to pause the video and we'll come back when I'm all done shaking. Okay, we're back. So 2 minutes of shaking a vial is not fun, but better than trying to compare it to a color chart, I suppose. Especially with phosphates, you know, you get that blue, the light blue, the lighter blue. That's why I like Hannah's kits. You get a digital readout. As long as you test the same time every time correctly, you should get pretty decent reading. So we got it back in there, wiped it down. Now you're going to push and hold the button until the timer comes up. 3 minutes. So in 3 minutes we'll check back and see what my phosphate levels are. Do not be shocked if you see like 1.2, 1.4. Like I said, the levels have been elevated to deal with the dino outbreak. It is clearing up and going away, thankfully. So we'll check back here in 2.5 minutes. But 13 minutes in, and we've already checked salinity, temperature, alkalinity, calcium, and we're almost done with the phosphate. So we just got 2 more tests after this, and we'll let you guys get back on with your day. Alright, see you guys in 2.5 minutes. Alright, we're back. Final countdown. Let's see what we got live. Or not live, but, you know, as it happens. .02. Wow, that's pretty low. So that came down from 1.2 all the way down to 0.2 from the skimmer being on for 12 hours, 15 hours, 14 hours. I'm shocked. So we're going to go ahead and pause video. Let me clean up this one and we'll get on to let's do the magnesium next because it's easier. Alright, so I'm back. Forgot to record. Let me record that real quick. 0.02. Okay. So I got the Nios magnesium kit. For some reason I was calling this a Elos kit. It's a Nios kit. So rinse this out real quick, and we are gonna put in 1 ml of tank water. Sorry, I was drawing a sample. Then we're going to go to reagent 1. I'm going to put 1 ml of that in. Using the red syringe. Everything on this kit is color coded, so you can't really jack it up. The only thing I don't like about this kit is the lines for the 1 ml mark. They got all types of manufacturer writing on the top of the syringe. I don't know if you see it, but it makes it hard when there's liquid in there to see the 1 ml mark. You know, it's only right there, and you can see the writing. Focus right there, right above the 1 ml mark. Kind of makes it a pain in the butt sometimes, especially in low light conditions. So we got 1 ml tank water, 1 ml reagent 1. I'm going to go ahead and give that a little swirl. About 5 seconds, 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't want to shake it, just swirl it lightly. Next, we're going to add reagent number 2, which is a spoon. We all know these spoons from the Salford kits. It's basically the same test, in my opinion. Oh crap, you see that? Live. Just lost the whole test right there. Trying to show you, I like to scrape the top of the spoon on the side of the jug just to make sure it's level. And you make sure you get that full scoop. So all over my test booklet I got 1 spoonful of dust. Yay, 1 whole test lost. So next you're going to swirl this for about, I don't know, 30 seconds. Not exactly sure what pretty much you just want to do it to break it up. It's been so long since I actually read the instructions. But it's the same test, so yeah, it says add 1 measuring spoon and swirl to mix. Didn't say for how long. I think you just want to do it until it dissolves completely. I usually do it for about 15-20 seconds. Light swirl. The sample will turn like a pinkish violet color. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to get your final syringe with the little tip on there. Looks like my storage has bent the tip a little bit. Hopefully it's alright. So next we're going to draw up 1 ml exactly of the reagent 3. Right there. And there's going to be a little air bubble in the, you want the bottom of the plunger to be at the 1 ml mark. I don't know if you guys can see that. There is a little air bubble in there. Don't worry about it. That's to compensate for the tip that you put on here. I like to keep the bottle open. So basically, I know that I'm going to be adding at least up to here of the reagent. So I'm just going to go ahead and power blast it all the way down to about 2 before I even start swirling it and doing it a drop at a time. We'll be here all freaking night. So swirl it. Add a couple more drops. This syringe is real sensitive, so you gotta go real gently. Otherwise, you'll spray, big old spray. So you can see the sample has just turned from pink, violet to like a bluish gray color. I'm gonna call that good. So I'm looking at the syringe, and I am at 0.16, or yeah, 0.16. So I'm going to look in the little book here. Excuse me if I'm not doing this to your standards. So I got 0.16 solution left in the syringe. So my mag is actually dropped from 1360 to 1260. So I need to raise that up quite a bit. The leftover reagent, little secret, don't dump it back into your whole sample and see what happens. Put it back in your reagent bottle to use it for next time. Any unused reagent is good reagent in my book. So 0.16 left in the sample. It's really shocking to me. Turn the skimmer back on, the mag drops, and the PO4 drops. So I was at 1360 5 days ago. I have been dosing it every other day, 5 mils per day, and it has dropped to 1260. So we will raise that up to get it about 1350-ish. That's where I like it. So let me clean this out. I like to put the reagents back in the bags, just in case there's a leak or something. Doesn't get everywhere. I don't know, OCD, I always like to bag everything up like it came when I bought it brand new. Put the bag in there. Little book. Syringes. Spoon. And we'll rinse this out. And we'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Got that all rinsed out. Same procedure, hot water. I also forgot I took the syringes out and gave them a flush with hot water. Filled the cuvette up with distilled water. And then ran a couple mils through each syringe just to flush them out. And same with the cuvette. And then before use, just rinse with salt water. So next we're going to move on to the Red Sea Pro test kit for the nitrate. I really wish Sulfur would come out with a nitrate test kit, or Hannah would come out with a nitrate test kit. Maybe they do, and I just don't know about it. But basically, you got the color wheel here. I am going to be performing a high range test because I feel like since I've raised my levels that maybe it's not going to pick up. So we'll start with a high range test, and if I don't get results with that, then we'll switch to the low range test. So you get the little color wheel, stick it in there. You're going to put your sample water in here, and then your actual test water in the one with the white circle. And this is just to look through your tank water at the color wheel. That's the reason for that. So we'll go ahead and bust out the pipettes. 2 grids. Now last time I tested the nitrates on this kit, I messed up and I had to retest it. And this is how I messed up. First you put the reagent A in, and then you put the reagent B in, and then you put the reagent C in. Well, I accidentally mixed these two up and did the C thinking it was B, and then the B thinking it was C, and then I realized my mistake and had to re-perform the test. This test takes, I believe, 9 minutes. Once you get the final solution in there, wait time. So let me go ahead and pause the video and fill up these samples right here. For the high range test, we're going to be using 1 mil of aquarium water and 15 mils of RO water. For the typical test, you will use 16 mils of tank water per vial. So let me pause the video, let me draw out 1 mil and fill up these bottles, and then get the 15 mils of DI water. So real quick, I got my 1 mil in each vial of tank water, and I use this syringe. right here, which is a 10 mil syringe that comes with the Red Sea kit. But I do not want to contaminate my distilled water here with getting any salt that's left over on the syringe. So what I do is I rinse out the lid for the Red Sea kit, and then I flush the syringe with distilled water, and then I rinse it again, and then I draw water up out of this to get the remainder of 15 mils. Just in case anybody's wondering, how do you measure 15 mils? I don't want to contaminate my DI water by sticking it into the jug with the syringe that I just stuck in my tank. I'm sure I'm being a little OCD, but it's just the way I am. So let me finish rinsing this out, and then I'll come back and when I got the 15 mils in each one, and we'll go through the dropping steps and go from there. Alright, so I got 15 mils of distilled water and 1 mil of tank water in here for the high range kit. I'm going to go ahead and put this as a look-through sample. I'm going to leave the lid on so nothing gets in there, contaminates it, and we're going to use this as our dropper sample. So first thing we got to do, we're going to open it up. We're going to put in 5 drops of the nitrate A. It says it right there on the bottle, 5 drops. Child-proof cap. If you got little children, don't leave your test kits where your kids can get access to them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you know, they will find a way to open it up. Shake it for 15 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So next you want to make sure you're grabbing reagent B, not C, like I did last week. And I try to keep the same spoons with the bottles and use the same spoons. I don't know if it matters if they're the same size, but since I got the kit, I've used the spoons that came with the bottles. I'm going to do the same thing, pull up a scoop, use the side of the bottle, flatten it out, dump it in there. Hope you guys caught that on video. I can't tell. I don't have the screen facing me. Should probably do that next time. Tripod, learning the tripod. So now you want to shake this for 60 seconds. Reagent B. I'm going to go ahead and pause it so you don't have to watch all that. Alright, we're back. That noise you're hearing is a pressure cooker releasing pressure. It's been 60 seconds. So far today I've shaken my Cuvette bottle for a total of 3 minutes, 4 minutes. So now we're going to add in reagent C. Make sure it's reagent C. Maybe 1 scoop. Use the side of the container. Push the top of the spoon. Careful not to pull the spoon all the way out just to get it nice and level. Dump it in there. Make sure you get it all in there. Put the correct lid back on. It looks similar to the lid on the Cuvette. Put the spoon back in the rubber band because you know I got OCD and I got a little moist paper towel here. I'm just going to wipe the inside of the spoon down so there's no residue. Next we're going to shake this for 15 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Alright, so now what I need to do is I need to put it in here and set a timer for 9 minutes. So in 9 minutes we'll be back and we'll check out the reading. Alright, so we got less than a minute to go. One thing that you want to make sure you have is pretty good lighting wherever you plan to look at the vials at. This light that's on right now, there's only one cool white bulb and the other two are warm white, so it is a little yellow. I actually like to look at this test in the kitchen. I have the pocket lighting in the ceiling. It's got a lot better bulbs, a lot brighter. But when checking this, you want to have good lighting to be able to see down in the vials at the colors. So during the time that I've been waiting, I cleaned up my mess. Cracked me open one of these. Saturday, tomorrow's Mother's Day. Shout out to all the moms, happy Mother's Day. So it's time's up. I'm gonna go ahead and just give it a quick little 15-second up, down, get the air bubbles off, feel. It doesn't really matter if you're not looking at it through the side, but I just give it a little wiggle, as you can see on the final step after waiting 9 minutes. Give it a quick little how's your father. So now I am going to open the lids on both. I like to keep the tank water lid separate from the one that I had the reagent on. This way I don't cross-contaminate anything. More OCD. So right now I am looking at the high range test. Turning the wheel, trying to find what color looks best. And I am very shocked and surprised to say that on the high range test, I'm seeing, I don't think the camera will pick it up, especially with the shadow, but I am looking at 0.25, which on the regular test that would convert to, in the low range test it would be 0.25. On the high range test, 0.25 converts to 4 ppm nitrates. Yay! So, funny story is this number shot up to 40. I have not done a water test or a water change. I have not done anything other than turn the skimmer on. So I'm kind of questioning if I should even do a water change now, because I don't want those numbers to zero out and the dinos come back. So yay, we're all done. We did a full lineup with the general test. We did magnesium, we did calcium, we did alkalinity, we did nitrate, we did phosphate, we did specific gravity, and we did temperature. So did all that in 33 minutes. We'll go ahead and call it that. I'm going to put this away, enjoy the rest of my beer, have dinner with my kids, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys.